How much equity would you say you had in this house? How much had you paid on the house?
It was $16,000 to have it rebuilt and wasn't done, and then we paid $800 a month on the payment on the house.
Okay,
Option to buy.
Did you give a down payment at all?
I paid $800 plus an $800 again, so then $1,600 total when I moved in here.
Okay, but the $800 was less than your agreed amount on the contract, correct?
$800 was more.
More than you agreed on the contract. So you were trying to pay the house off in advance.
Yeah, pay more on it than what I was paying. I think the agreement was like $750 a month.
Okay. So then when the flood happened, who did all the work?
Me and Joyce and my son, and then it had been Chad and his dad. But they were already here, and they took everything out of the house and threw it out front before we even got here.
Our furniture and all the stuff that was inside.
Yeah, so basically they entered the house without us knowing it.
So they treated you guys like you were renters.
Right.
Even though you guys had a contract to buy.
Right, and then I came in here that day and I told him, I said, well, what are you doing in this house before I even got here? You know, and he said, well, we wanted to get it mucked out. And I said, well, we'll muck it out as soon as I get here.
Mm-hmm. And so where were you?
I had to stay in they didn't have no hotels or motels around here, so I had to go to Tama. That was living at Designer Inn in Tama.
What, there were no shelters open, or?
Well, at that time, everything was so chaos that they were...
Did you have a pet?
Yeah, I had 2 of them.
That usually made the difference in the disaster, because we didn't go to a shelter because we have pets.
Yeah, I had
pets weren't allowed.
Yeah, we had 2 dogs, and they went with us. They let us have them because they understood that we was in the flood.
Okay. And so we're here today, and we're worried because you've been told by Gary Stansberry from the Neighborhood Association that the Iowa Attorney General has contacted him.
Yeah, at first I contacted Iowa Legal Services, and they were working on this, and he said there should be criminal charges brought on to Chad Wilson, and so he told me to get hold of FEMA, Iowa Attorney General's office, and go with them, which I did, and the Iowa Attorney General's office said they at this point was working on it, and there's nothing I could do to the place until until I heard from them to get the okay to start working on it. But in the meantime, they put a post out in front of the house and said they're going to tear it down, that Chad Wilson sold it. And Chad Wilson shouldn't have even been able to sell it. I know his name's on the deed, but I had a contract on there, and it's recorded down at the recorder's office.
Because he went, and then I went down, and I made sure it was recorded.
Yeah, and I still got the contract today. I still got, so...
And so you guys really just want to rebuild?
Yes.
You guys want to come home? And do you think that the lost monies should have perhaps been funneled towards things like this?
Yes, I think the money, the $16,000 I gave Chad to put a furnace, hot water heater, electrical.
Make sure the property taxes was paid.
Yeah, and that all went towards the house. Well, in the flood of 2008, they said there was no property. They
abated the taxes?
Yes, abated the taxes, so nobody had to pay the taxes on the house.
Well, that's not true. You had to have them abated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, they led people to believe that if you just... and a lot of people were confused about it. You had to have like letters, and you went through a ridiculous process, in my opinion, but you had to fill some paperwork out, which we all know how lovely paperwork is. Yeah. And, it just...
Well, see, that 16,000 should have went, like we told him, for that property taxes and then to put in here to rebuild it. And it wasn't in here for rebuilding, you can tell that. And the property taxes, I think he paid, but said he paid them, and that was from the 16,000 we gave him.
And that's plus the $800 that we were paying him a month.
You guys were paying him even though the flood had happened?
Well, after the flood, I contacted Corey down at Legal Services, and he's told me not to give him a dime.
Right. After you gave him the $16,000 from FEMA.
Yes. No, Corey down there told me don't do nothing to the house, don't give him no money. He said that, Chad said that he said that I voided the contract by not mowing the yard, but on the contract it states that Chad Wilson was supposed to have flood insurance on this house, but she didn't have flood insurance on it, so he's the one that voided the contract. You know, I mean, but it's, you know, it's my own, because he's the one that took and, you know, as far as mowing the yard, there's nothing I could do, because my hands are tied from Legal Services, and, you know.
And plus the city didn't have to mow it, remember?
And so.
And then we did come and try to take care of the yard, and it's like.
Yeah, we did come back and cut some trees down around here and cleaned up, and you could see it out there in the driveway. And then she had some stuff stored in the garage, and it's gone. I could feel that Chad Wilson came in and did that.
You had stuff stored in the garage since the flood.
After the flood.
And then
it come up missing, and then now everything is locked up back there. And this was right after Chad was here. They said they seen him here, and it come up missing.
So let's do a walking tour of the premises. It smells nice. I don't know, maybe if that's one of you guys, but. Oops. It's a modest worker house. Great woodwork. I love the woodwork. And so when did they give you a time frame then as to when the demolition?
No, didn't.
They just came over and said you're going to be.
Yeah.
And this is the day after the election with the lost local option sales tax?
I think it was, the day of.
It was the day of, and you guys had a sign out front.
She gave us some papers, some names, and who to contact on this and everything.
Who is she?
The lady was here. She gave us a card, too.
Yeah,
oh, you have her card?
Yeah, she's got the card and all that, and that paperwork out the car.
Awesome. Well, let's go look at it.